Hey there, it's Susie here. Before we dive into today's episode, I've got something really exciting to share with you. If you've ever struggled to get people to say yes to what you sell, whether it's a product, a service, or a program, guess what? It's probably not your product that's the problem. I'm sure that is already amazing. It's much more likely to be the way that you're packaging your product or service that's the issue. Because here's a newsflash for you. People don't buy your product. They actually buy how you present your product to them in what's known as an offer. And here's what we found working with thousands of women. Most women business owners have not been given enough support to create high converting offers that reliably bring in sales and profits. And maybe you can relate. Perhaps you're not sure what to include or how to message it or how to price it and how to automatically build things into your offer, things like risk reversal and urgency that get your clients ready to buy right now versus having them say things like, maybe later, or I'll think about it, or the dreaded, we'll get back to you. We get it. But not knowing these things is probably the number one thing that's keeping you from making the kind of income and impact that you truly want. That's why Michelle Falzon and I are doing something that we've never done before. For the first time ever, we are hosting a 2-day hands-on in-person event with a small number of women business owners solely focusing on crafting your high-converting offer. We're calling it Advanced Offer Creation, and we're deliberately keeping this to a group of just 12 women in a boardroom setting in Sydney so that we can work with you personally one-on-one. Now, this is going to be an intimate, high-touch experience where you'll get our eyes on your offer as we walk you through our proven framework for reliably creating a high-converting offer, one that's priced right, positioned perfectly, and gets your ideal clients saying yes. But here's the thing, we haven't opened up applications yet, but we are giving priority access to those who join the waitlist first. So what that means is, if you want the chance to be one of just 12 women in the room with us, your best next step is to get on the waitlist right now at www.advancedoffercreation.com. Now, there's zero obligation, but if you're on the wait list, you're going to get the first chance to apply before we make this available publicly. So don't miss out. Go to www.advancedoffercreation.com and add your name to the waitlist now for priority access when we open the doors on the Advanced Offer Creation 2-day intensive. Michelle and I would love to work with you on crafting your very own high converting offer. Now, let's get on with the show. Hi, you're listening to the Content Sells Podcast, the show all about how to create content to attract, convert, and keep your ideal clients. Welcome to episode 255. I'm Susie Daphnis, and my co-host Michelle Falzon is here with me. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hey, Susie, I am doing so very well. I feel great at the moment, and I am really loving this year of the offer.
Me too. I'm so excited. And if you are listening and you haven't caught the last episode where we did a new and updated edition of the episode on how to craft an offer that sells, on that episode, we mentioned that I've declared this the year of the offer, and we're doing all we can to resource women business owners with the tools that they need to create high converting offers. And so in that spirit, we are going to continue that theme today. Maybe next week, maybe the week after as well. We're loving this theme. And in our last episode, we covered the seven elements that need to be present in every high converting offer. And if you haven't checked that episode out, you definitely want to dive into it. And it comes with a bonus download, which is our brand new, the ultimate high converting offer blueprint, which women are just snapping up. So I'll let you know how to get a copy of that a little later on today. And today we are diving deeper into one of the offer examples that we touched on in the last episode.
We sure are. And that is the offer for the studio membership created by our amazing marketing success mastermind member, Gillian Erskine. And along with her business partner, Paul Myatt, Gillian has a massively successful business that provides resources, courses, software, and membership for piano teachers. That's the niche that she supports. And you can learn more about Gillian and her awesome business over at pianoteachingsuccess.com, and we will put a link to that in our show notes today. And we wanted to give Gillian right at the top of the show an extra special shout out because she's kindly agreed to let us share with you a bonus download for today's episode that actually includes screenshots of her real life offer and how she has applied the 7 elements to create her own high converting offer for her membership, The Studio. And this is a members only community that she hosts for piano teachers to support each other as they learn strategies and get access to Gillian and Paul's vault of resources designed to engage and motivate students and make teaching more fun, and importantly, to help piano teachers grow their income.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You can get that download and you're going to love it because you can see on every page, like we've zeroed in on how her offer builds. So you're going to love it. And you can get your copy now at herbusiness.com/piano case study, all one word, herbusiness.com/piano case study. And don't worry if you can't download it right now. We're going to be talking you through it. So keep listening and you can grab the download whenever you're back on your computer. So let's start with a quick recap of all 7 elements of a high converting offer. And then we're going to talk about how Gillian applied them to her offer for the studio membership.
Susie, I just want to say I love kind of hearing how the theory of what we've been talking about in the last episode really translates to a real world application. And as you're listening, we're hoping that you're looking at Gillian's offer and saying, oh, well, I could apply it like this or like that to my offer. So we're hoping it gives you inspiration for your own high converting offer.
Yes, very exciting. So I'm going to recap the 7 elements and then you'll hear us talk through them using Gillian as the case study. And then with the free download, you'll be able to see that alongside as well when you pick that up. So let's start with these 7 elements that every high converting offer has. And so you want to be listening up into how you can integrate this into your own work. So price is number 1. How are you pricing your offer? Number 2 is inclusions. What actually is included in your offer? Number 3 is naming. What are you going to call this offer? Number 4 is branding. Are you going to create a unique brand for this offer? Number 5 is risk reversal. What are you doing to minimize your customers' risk when they take the offer and make it a no-brainer for them to say yes? Number 6 is bonuses, and we recommend that you include at least 1 bonus. And number 7 is scarcity, which is what is going to be the reason that someone needs to buy now versus putting it off till later. And if all the things I just said are kind of new to you, know that they are outlined and we go into detail in the last episode, episode 254 of this show.
Yeah, so definitely check that out just to get that foundation, that grounding. And today we're really building on that. And Susie, I'm so excited to dive into this case study. And just for context, if you're listening and thinking, I really don't know how to put an offer together, just know that Gillian was in the exact same position when she joined our mastermind, when she first discovered this process that we're sharing with you. This is a skill that she learned with our support. And the great news is that high converting offers are definitely made. They're not born.
That's
it's not like, genetic. Oh my gosh, I can't make an offer. That's it. I'll never be able to make a high converting offer. You can learn this skill. And this is us doing our darndest to help you to really pick this skill up and to run with it. Like, when you do weights at the gym, the muscles get stronger and stronger. Now, we're not always perfect right out of the gate, but this is a skill you can develop, just like building that muscle I was talking about. And over the last few years, we've helped Gillian create all kinds of high converting offers, including, which we're so thrilled about, Susie, her first ever 6-figure offer. That's 6 figures from one offer, one promotion. And that is such an incredible achievement. She was so thrilled. And, she didn't realize that she was going to get there. When you first learn how to do this, it can feel a bit clunky. So you can do this when you have the right support and the right system. And Gillian is such an inspiring example of this. And also, if you're curious, we've mentioned the mastermind a lot on this show, and Gillian's one of our masterminders. You can get more information on how to join us in the mastermind over at herbusinessmastermind.com. And you can book a call with Susie and I to confirm if this is the right next step for you. All you need to do is apply over at herbusinessmastermind.com and we can get that call scheduled.
Thanks, Michelle. So if you are a business owner and you're turning over 6 figures, or you know that it's right around the corner for you and you are looking to grow, then we would love to chat with you. And it costs nothing to apply for the mastermind, and you've really got nothing to lose. We can chat with you and give you our best recommendation on the right next step for you in terms of how suited you are to the mastermind and whether the mastermind is right for you. Okay, let's dig into Gillian's offer, starting with pricing. I mentioned earlier, number one in the elements of a high converting offer is your price. Now, Gillian has a price for her offer of $41 a month, and she's clearly showing that on her sales page.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, oh, well, I sell a multi-$1,000 something, or, oh, Gillian's got a membership, I sell a course, or I sell services, or I have a physical product, or I help people, install their swimming pool, just listen out. What we're hoping you're going to hear is examples of how the theory is applied. And just know that this theory, these 7 elements, are present in every type of offer, whether it's low ticket or high ticket, whether it's a physical product, whether it's a service. So just keep your mind open as we go through this case study. The main point here is that you see how another person, just like you, is applying this to their unique situation, so you can apply it to your unique situation.
Thank you, Michelle. And so I mentioned the offer, which is $41 a month, and Gillian is being really strategic about that price point for her audience, which is piano teachers. So it's less than what they would make from one session teaching piano. So you can see she's making it really affordable and going for a volume strategy. And what I mean by that is she wants to bring in a lot of piano teachers into the studio membership so that she can get to know them, they can get to know her, like her, and trust her, in order to then move on to some of her higher ticket, higher priced offers.
Yes, and I hope you're really picking up what Susie's saying there about this being like an entry-level offer into Gillian's world. So that's why she's priced it at that really, affordable price point. Somebody looking at her offer can think, well, look, I'll probably get one extra student from doing this, so I'm already in front with everything that I make after that. And so it's a really nice entry point into her world. So as you're thinking about your offers, think about, where is the entry point? How is somebody coming into my world? Am I immediately making them pay me $20,000 or $5,000 or $2,000, or am I considering a low dollar offer at the front end? And so there's a lot to this pricing strategy, and we could do a whole show on that, and we've got more advice and support coming for you on pricing. But just really think about your ideal client, just like what Gillian has done, and also, where does this offer fit in your sort of universe of product offers? Is it an entry-level product? Is it something you're going to upsell somebody to after they've already bought something from you? So these are just all things to get the thoughts stirring in your mental crockpot.
Thanks, Michelle. So as Michelle mentioned, this is a membership. So it's a subscription service. So the piano teachers pay every month. So Gillian's decided they can pay monthly. And there's pros and cons if you have a subscription style or membership style offer in paying monthly versus annual. Monthly is easier for people's cash flow, right? And it really depends who your client is. And they feel more at ease trying it out, saying, well, I'll go for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. Now, with the Her Business community, we recommend that women join for at least a year, because we know that it takes time to get results. But we still give people the option to just come in for a month and pay by the month. And for a small business owner, sometimes that's good for cash flow. The annual is great because you know that you have at least 12 months of revenue for your business, and you've got someone who knows that results take time, and they know that they will have your support for a whole year. So both strategies work, and we actually incentivize people to pay for the year, because what we found over time is that we can get them results if they're with us longer. But you really have to know your client and know it's available. And I know with higher priced memberships or subscription services, those people, typically they just want a one and done. They want to cut one check. Who writes a check anyway? But you know what I mean. They want one billing, one invoice. They don't want to be doing this monthly billing. So you really, so I find both can totally work. You just need to understand your ideal client, which is something we talk about here all the time on the show. And if you don't have a membership where someone's paying you monthly or annually, there are still ways that you can break the payments down into smaller increments. For example, you might have a payment plan where your course or your coaching program might be $1,000, and people can pay one payment now of $300 and then 3 additional payments of $300, which is actually $1,200. So you can see I've added a little more money there. And if you want to do that, then you're adding 10 to 20% on the payment plan for that privilege of paying off over time. Now, the best way, though, to present that pricing strategy is to say the payment plan price first so that they can see that they can get started now with as little as $300. And in this case, with then 3 additional monthly payments of $300. And then when you position the full price, it looks like a discount for paying in full because it's $1,000 versus penalizing those who want to take up the payment plan.
Yeah, I love what you said there, Susie, because so much of a high converting offer hinges on things exactly like this that you're talking about at this kind of nuanced level. The order in which you share the information, the order in which the offer kind of unfolds as you're talking it through with somebody or as they're reading it on your sales page, the framing that you give something, the way you make something affordable and then also incentivized to pay in full. All of this is deep thought that goes into creating a high converting offer. And it's the difference between your offer really taking off and it kind of being meh, or crickets, which is even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are the nuts and bolts of pricing that I'm sharing here. And I love how Gillian has made this really clear to see on her sales page, as I mentioned earlier. So when you get the download of her case study, if you haven't already downloaded it, you'll see how she makes it really obvious for people. But she doesn't show that price on the page until she's had a chance to establish things like the value, the benefits, the who it's for, the inclusions. And like Michelle said, the order in which you unveil this information on your landing page, on your website, wherever you are making this offer, is an important part of actually converting, of having a high converting offer.
I love it. So that's our first element of a high converting offer, price. Let's look at the next key element, which is what we call inclusions. That is, what is included? What do I get when I buy your product or your service? And so we want to take you through what Gillian's done and how she's positioned and packaged up what's included in the studio membership. But first, before we do that, just a reminder, this is not a laundry list of things that are not relevant. Like there might be things you're including with your offer that you don't need to list in the inclusions. Conversely, there might be things that you're not listing right now that you need to put in there because it's not obvious to your customer. So first off, this is not a laundry list of just like, well, there's a 17-page manual and there's 4 videos and there's this and there's that, right? If you can't link a feature, something that's included in your offer, some feature of what you include, to a very clear benefit to the person that's going to buy your product or your service, that's a real clue not to mention it. That might mean that it's something they discover after they buy your product or your service, or that you can teach them about later on down the track when it does become more relevant to them. But right now, as you're presenting what's included in your offer, you really need to be thinking about all the things that your client is going to see as a benefit to them. What's important to your client? So you want to retrace your steps as you think about, well, what happens when I deliver my product or my service? What's actually in the product itself? So retrace those steps and look at that process and just document it, because sometimes we think we know what we're selling, but we want to encourage you right now just to pause and go back with a beginner's mind and look over what you're selling. Just retrace the steps. First I do this, then I do that, then I do this. And just make sure you're not overlooking something important, or that you're not featuring something that doesn't make sense, or that isn't relevant right now, or that doesn't have a clear benefit. And in Gillian's case, she's done such a great job on this part of the process, on this sort of vetting of what she sells, because we can get so close to our product that we're kind of blind to it in a way. And so she's done a great job on thinking about her inclusions. And this is something you want to spend a good deal of time on. And all great marketers, all the people you see out there with high converting offers are really sweating this stuff. You might think, oh, it's a small stuff, right? It's just a list of what's included. No, this is really central to having a high converting offer.
And in the last episode, we went through these 7 elements. And so we go deeper into, well, how do you think about your inclusions? Because you might be thinking, well, it's only like one thing, or, you're throwing everything in the kitchen sink in. And what Gillian has done really well is that there's not 1,000 things. There's a few things that feel valuable, doable, not overwhelming. Because the big mistake that we can make is that we think, the more I put into this offer, the more I'll sell, when that is often discouraging for people. It turns them off and they get confused. It's like too much. So she's got 4 things that she's included in her studio membership. One is a library of on-demand trainings. The second one is something she calls Music Skills Builder Program. Then she's got her monthly masterclass and workshops and what she calls her parent resource room. So 4 things. And you'll see when you look at the download, remember there's a companion download for this episode, you'll see on the visual example how she's treated each of these inclusions like its own mini offer. So she's got a little photograph, she's got a headline, she's got a description, she's got a value. And each of these items she's then described. So for example, with the library on demand, she's given it a name. It's the TSG Library on Demand. She's made it more tangible and accentuated the value of this inclusion by creating some visuals that demonstrate what the library looks like. Right? So there's a little image of a laptop and an iPad and some of the elements that are in the library. And if you're looking at her example, you'll see these things. She's also written a description, as I said, and the description is what is the benefit for the teacher. So, for example, she says, feel like a piano teaching superstar with access to our personal library of TSGs stacked full of multisensory activities and extra resources, sure to spark interest and engage any learner. 40 plus pieces, beginners to early advanced with more each month. So she's letting them know she's building on that library and she's given the value of that. So we highly recommend that you assign a value to every single thing that is part of your inclusions package. Itemize them one by one, and you'll see how she's done this in the example we give you. And the value for just this one part, the library, is $4,800. And she's figured that out by tallying up the value of all the items in her library and then multiplying them by a dollar amount. And so there's this many items by this dollar amount, and she's made that to the $48,000 value, which is true. Each one of those items is worth that if she was going to sell them. And so you can see that's huge value. I get access to a library. That's just one thing, but worth $4,800, and all I have to pay is $41 right now.
Sounding like a bit of a no-brainer to me, Susie. And she's really done a great job here. And this is so typical of Gillian. She's a real learner. She takes the information, she processes it, she works on it in her own time and really applies it to her own sort of situation. And I know this is the hardest part. The theory makes sense, and then you've got to try and map it to your unique situation. And so we're really hoping that the hard work Gillian's done here is helping you to see how you might apply it to your situation. And with just this first inclusion that Susie mentioned, the $4,800 value of the TSG library on demand, she's already well on her way, and she's only explained the first thing that's really included. She's well on her way to having her piano teacher prospect, that woman who is looking at buying this membership, thinking, my goodness, this is a steal, this is a bargain, I absolutely want this. And she's done this same thing with the other 3 primary inclusions that Susie mentioned. She's given each of them a name and a strong visual that makes that aspect of the product feel more tangible and valuable. And that's what you're trying to do, because you know what your XYZ thing is, but your client doesn't. So how can you visualize it? How can you make it more tangible? How can you put it on an iPad screen if it's something digital? How can you demonstrate you in a one-on-one consultation with a client or whatever it is so that it is really seen as something valuable? She's also been very strategic about what she's included. So piano teachers, she knows this from her experience, want resources for parents. So that's why she's included a thing called the parent resource room. They want lesson plans for themselves. They want to just be able to dip into a library and pick out that particular skill or fun activity that they can give their student, because that student today, on Tuesday, spontaneously she's discovered that student is struggling with some particular aspect of learning piano. So she's got this on-demand goodie bag that she can dig into. And so she's understood the things that her piano teachers really, really want. And I know it sounds ridiculously simple, but she's just given them what they want in the offer. And you don't have to over deliver. You don't have to overstuff your offer with a ton of inclusions. I loved what you said before about that, Susie.
So let's have a look at naming and branding. So there's two more elements of the high converting offer, and let's look at the name of Gillian's offer. So she's called her membership The Studio, which is really on brand for her audience. She's spent a lot of time thinking about a really compelling name, and that's what a lot of piano teachers call their practice, a studio. So it's the place they hang out, it's where they bring their clients, which is exactly what she wants them to do in her membership. So it's smart and relevant. She wants them to hang out in her studio. And you'll see when you look at the download that she's made some specific branding decisions. So she's used a very particular cursive font for the way that the studio is written. And then that font appears throughout her sales page for her offer in her emails. And so there's this branding consistency, which is also always so calming. I know I'm in the right place for the person who's looking. She's also chosen branding colors that she uses consistently as well. And she's got these pinks and mauves and a goldish kind of color. Now, you don't always need to have a logo or to pay for expensive branding for your product. Gillian did it simply by choosing the font and colors to run consistently throughout her ads and her emails and her sales page, etc.
Yeah, and that's super useful. Like you said, Susie, it's calming. As you're moving through somebody's sales process, you kind of know that you're in the right place. And it's also really good because people can more easily recognize your offer when it's branded and named consistently when they see you talking about it. Because people often need to see multiple pieces of communication from you before they take action. So keeping those messages visually consistent with your naming and branding really does make a difference to your results. So if there were Facebook ads, if there were emails, if there was something that popped up on the website, if there was a blog article, all of those things have this consistency so that when they arrive on the sales page or when they get your proposal or when they see the quote, there's this visual consistency throughout. So that's a really important one. So let's talk now about risk reversal, which is the fifth in our list of 7 elements of an offer. And one of the ways Gillian is reducing risk is that she's sharing client stories that show the success of other piano teachers who, guess what, have joined the studio. They've taken that step that Gillian is wanting the prospect to take in this offer. And this is a great approach to help people see that others like them have been able to get the results that you're promising. So risk reversal, a really important strategy, is including client stories. And you'll see in the download some examples of the stories that Gillian is sharing. So for example, if we're just looking at the download now, if I know that Shauna, the piano teacher from Calgary in Canada, says, this approach really works, or Janet from Utah says, this was the best lesson ever, that's what one of my students said to me, then if I'm a piano teacher and I'm looking at Shauna and Janet and whoever else is featured in the success stories, I think, okay, maybe this isn't a risky thing to embark on. Maybe I'm not crazy for thinking about paying money to Gillian for access to this membership. And that's what's great about the client stories Gillian is sharing, is that they are also visually on brand, and you can see those examples in the free download. So do definitely go and check all of that out. Now, another thing, Susie, that Gillian is doing to reduce risk is that she's offering a money-back guarantee.
And I love that she's doing that. She's letting people know that they can go ahead and join the studio and stay in for 14 days and dig around, use all the resources. And if they don't absolutely love it, they can receive a full refund. And this is such an important part of a high converting offer. And as I said earlier, we go deeper into it in the last episode. But I want you, as you're listening, to be bold about, because a thought can come in is, I don't want people asking for their money back. That's not our experience. And in this example, you can see how Gillian is making the guarantee so obvious, so clear. She's not trying to hide it down there in the fine print. She's making it super compelling. She's put a big gold seal on her sales page that says 14-day guarantee. And she's got the words no risk money back guarantee in large letters with wording cancel anytime within the 14 days and receive a full refund, no questions asked. So a few things I want to point out about that. The seal, the use of the visual of the seal makes it, and I mean like a not a seal like the animal, the seal like the stamp.
I feel like doing an impersonation of a seal.
I know, I'm using my arms in a particular way right now, if you can see me. So the seal makes it official, and it kind of carries weight, right? We're used to seeing that sort of symbol on official documents. The language saying no risk, no questions asked really makes this feel like a true guarantee, which it is, and it's easy to get a refund if I need one. I'm being let off the hook if this isn't the right thing for me.
Yeah, let off the hook. That's such a great phrase, Susie. And that is a way to think about risk reversal, right? Like you're letting them off the hook, because we all feel that risk, that moment of purchase of going, oh, what if I'm making a mistake? And so just really empathize with your audience. And that's what Gillian's done. So you can really see how she's just stacking this offer. It's just getting better and better the more I hear about it, right? And that's what we want our prospects to be in the situation of. So it's a good price. The inclusions are amazing and so valuable. It looks great. It's not really any risk at all to me. I can get my money back if I dive in and I don't like it. Can you see how the design of this offer, how being really deliberate about each of these pieces is getting people more and more interested in buying from Gillian?
Yes, yes, yes. And I love the next bit is that she's got bonuses in there. And bonuses are the sixth of the 7 elements of a high converting offer. And she's using this on her page, as you'll see. Oh my gosh, I love this. She's got 3 bonuses, and these bonuses are not just slapped together or bits and pieces that she had lying around. Gillian spent a lot of time and attention thinking about them, naming the bonuses, visualizing them so that they really look like there's something juicy that I can get access to when I join the studio. And she's been super strategic about what she's offered as a bonus. Now, the first bonus is something that she's called the Practice Buddy Mega Bundle, which is 200 backing tracks. Now, as a teacher, you can imagine how valuable that is. I get 200 backing tracks that I can use in my classes. The second one, and again, you'll see the visual. There's a picture of what the bonus is, there's a title, there's a short description, and then there's a value, which we highly recommend. The second bonus is the studio Facebook group. And of course, this is really valuable because, I'm going to be with other piano teachers who from around the world, somewhere where I can ask questions and share my wins and get supported the whole way. That's priceless to me. And the third bonus is $500 worth of complimentary student passes to Gillian's Practice Buddy software. Oh, this is genius. This one is genius.
It really is, isn't it? I absolutely love what she did with this bonus, and it's so clever. And Susie and I were, at the grassroots ground level when she was kind of figuring this offer out. And I remember when this started to come into shape, we were all jumping up and down and thrilled for her with just how clever this was. So it's a great way, it's a bonus, and it's also a great way to de-risk the studio purchase. So what this thing is, the $500 worth of complimentary student passes that Susie was mentioning that Gillian's offering, the teacher can sell these passes to their students. Now, this is quite a common practice. If you've got kids or perhaps you've done piano study yourself, you know the piano teacher sells you the sheet music and the piano books and all of those things. You tend to buy those from the teacher. We put our kids through piano teaching through a teacher, and that was very, very normal. So it would be kind of just part of the process for them to be able to sell these guest passes to their students as well. So it seems like it would be super easy for the teacher. It's not like they've got to learn a new skill or, interrupt the process in some way. It's already happening. And here's the great part. If you sell just 10 of these studio passes, it pays for your entire year of the studio. So it's $500 income she'll get from these practice passes, which is less than the cost of the entire year of her membership of the studio.
Good.
It is a great way to make it feel like somebody when you can imagine you're talking about your offer, you're sharing the inclusions, and you say, and by the way, I also want to give you these limited time bonuses. And one of them is a thing that's going to make this entire thing free for you. So they're feeling like they're getting the studio for free. And you'll see in the example that we've provided in the download how she's made a really big deal of this bonus on her sales page. But if you were doing this in a one-to-one conversation, you'd really focus and feature this and talk about it, and really amp it up and get excited about it. And how she's made a really big deal of it and pointed out how they get the studio for free simply by selling these passes to their students. And this is important. This is a little nuance that might get lost here. She's had to spell this out for the teacher. You can't just say $500 worth of student passes, because the person that's reading your offer or hearing you deliver it isn't going to join the dots. Oh, that's equal to the price of the year-long membership. You've got to join that dot for them. Do not assume that. So she's effectively making this a no-brainer for her prospective customers.
Yes. And you'll see the visual in the download when you grab a copy of that. Now, as you're thinking about your bonuses, and maybe you already have bonuses as part of your offer, maybe you're thinking, oh, okay, I need to add a bonus. Here's the big goal of your bonuses. It's to help overcome any objections someone might have to saying yes to your offer after they've read all the goodness of what you're including, the benefits for them, the fabulous price point. They might still have some niggles. And the goal of your bonuses is to help overcome those. And Gillian's doing a great job of that. If someone had an objection, for example, to paying for the studio, this bonus of these passes that they can sell completely neutralizes that objection. The other thing to notice on Gillian's example is that, like her inclusions, as I mentioned, she's named each bonus. She's created a little visual. She's written some excellent copy, and she's also assigned a value to each bonus. And this is really important when you put your bonuses together, to assign a value to them and then calculate the total value. And you'll see that on the examples that we've shown you to demonstrate, here's how much you pay, but here's the value of what you're getting that's included. And the bonuses are an extra value of X number of dollars. And here's what happens when you assign a value. You can tally that up, as I said, and contrast that with what you are charging, as I just explained. It's truly, truly powerful. And of course, you're telling, you want to be making sure that you're, kind of being accurate around the value that you're demonstrating. But right now, that's money sitting on the table. You're doing all this valuable work, and perhaps you're not making it obvious to people how much value they're getting. So, for example, with Gillian's offer, the magic starts to happen because when she totaled the values, that's over $26,000 worth of value that she's giving, plus the option to potentially get the whole membership for free. Right? If her members, her teachers sell the Practice Buddy passes, they essentially get the membership for free. And the purchase price, if you'll remember, is $41 a month. So it's a huge amount of value, and it's making that purchase price look like an absolute bargain. Now, if I was a piano teacher, I would be really excited about this offer by now.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we want. We need people to feel emotion. We need them to think, oh, I don't want to miss out. Oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. We want to get them out of that neutral state. And I hope as you're listening, you're seeing how all these elements stack together and are really building toward the sale. This is all heading towards this one objective, which is getting that person to say yes, helping them to cross the line and back themselves, or invest in their education, or get the support they need, or get their dream swimming pool, or whatever it might be. And that leads us to the final seventh element of a high converting offer, and that's giving people a reason to buy right now. And that's all about creating some scarcity in your offer. And the way Gillian created scarcity in her offer was to actually have the whole thing only open for a short period of time. So with the way she structured her membership, she actually closes access to the membership at certain times of the year and then only opens it for very brief periods of time. So that's a really powerful reason for somebody to act now, because I won't be able to get it next week. It's gone. It's closed. And she says, and you'll see this in the download if you're not already looking at it as we go through it with you on this episode, if you're going to circle back to it later, look out for this. She says, I'm only offering this until Friday at 5 p.m. because we're closing the membership then, so I can focus on really supporting my piano teachers. Now, that is some fantastic language that we have shared with Gillian that you may want to use. It's like, I've got to close this off now if you have an offer that does that, so I can put all my effort, basically what you're saying, is into the people that have moved forward with me.
Yeah, excellent language. So good.
Yeah, right. And it justifies and explains why the offer is closing. It also makes me feel, I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be the people that aren't getting that attention that she's going to now put onto everybody that's in the program.
And
So
Gillian's
now,
done so much right. So much right. I
oh,
love it.
I know, right? And Gillian, thank you again so much for letting us share this with others. I just know that it's helpful. I love seeing real life examples, Susie, when I'm trying to learn something new. And so thank you again, Gillian, for being so generous. So here's the thing that happens with scarcity, though, and why it's the important element. Do not miss this one in your offer. Do not miss any of them. Is because I might have been looking at everything that Gillian said, thinking, yes, 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 I love this. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. So much value. I'll wait until, the summer holidays are ended, or I'll wait until the end of the financial year, or I'll wait until, after my knee operation, or whatever it is, right? There's always a reason for us to put these things off. And here's the thing that scarcity does. That thing that I might be going to put off, I genuinely think in this moment I'm going to do it, but very often we don't circle back and do it, do we? So that thing I'm thinking about putting off that I'll do later, I can't even contemplate putting it off. I can't even contemplate doing it later because it's closing and I'm going to miss out right now. And this is often the thing that people need to make the decision right now. It's that they're right on the edge and they just need some help with some urgency and some scarcity and a reason to buy right now.
And I hope you can hear, as we're going through Gillian's offer, the amount of effort that she's put into having people be compelled to say yes to her. And so we work through every single one of these elements to help her make this a high converting offer. And we have to remember that we need to do our absolute best to help people buy from us. Now, we know that Gillian delivers huge value to piano teachers. And she can change piano teachers' lives from struggling to get students and not getting enough money to gaining traction with their students and having a thriving piano practice that gives them a great small business that helps all these children transform through the power of music. And it allows those teachers to create a business that they love and one where they're making a difference. And she's throwing everything she's got, helping them across that divide. But she can only make that difference if they come to her. And they're coming to her because she's done the work to work with us, to work through these elements to get the high converting offer. So there are the 7 elements. And just to recap what they were as we walk through them, the first thing was pricing. So my question is, how are you pricing your offer? Is it a monthly payment? Is it on installments? Is it one particular price? How are you thinking about it? Is it from how you're going to position yourself? What's included is number 2. What is included in your offer? What are the different elements that you're including? Number 3 is naming. What are you going to call this offer? Are you going to give it a name? Gillian's is the studio. Number 4 is branding. Are you going to create a unique brand for this offer, a logo, some fonts, some colors that are going to belong to this offer? Number 5 is risk reversal. What are you going to do to minimize the customer's risk when they take your offer? Is it a money back guarantee? Is it something else? And again, we dive into each one of these elements of an offer deeply in the last episode. Bonuses. I love a good bonus. I know you do too, Michelle.
Always. Well, you know
Always.
what? I am a sucker for those bonuses with purchase of skincare products. You get the little
Yes.
bag with the lipstick.
Cosmetics.
Oh my
It's like,
gosh.
yeah, give me the mini lipstick, So bonuses, and no matter what your business is, whether you sell expensive items, inexpensive items, high ticket services, low ticket services, there are bonuses waiting for you to put out there into the world, to have people like Michelle with the, little trial lipstick that she gets when she buys skincare go, yeah, I'm going to buy it now. Yesterday I went and it was like a buy 2, get the third one free. I was like, I was at a Mac store. I was like, give it to me. What am I going to get for free? What can I have?
They work. They work.
They work. We recommend you include at least one bonus. And then scarcity. What's going to be the reason for someone to buy now versus another day, maybe later, right? We don't want them to put it off till later. So how do we create that scarcity? Is it that it's open for the offer is open for a limited time only? Is it that you only have a number of certain slots available? What is it? And so thanks again to Gillian for one, allowing her to be the case study on this episode, and also for the visual examples of this case study that are available for you right now. And in a minute, I'll explain how you can go ahead and get that download. But first, we love to share these tips with business owners, these stories from our incredible masterminders here on the show. And so we want to help as many women as possible to create high converting offers, to really take advantage of this year of the offer, and to really be able to dive into marketing training that's going to make a difference to their business. And in every episode, we make it like a little marketing training. We want to give you so much value. So we would love it if you enjoyed this episode or any of our episodes, if you would leave us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. And we have over 100 5-star reviews. So thank you for those who left us a review or a rating. And if you enjoyed this episode, as I said, if you would do us the huge favor and let us know, that'd be great. One person who's left us a fabulous review of a recent episode is the lovely Leanne Faulkner. She has a business called Rereadable, where she provides books to business owners. They specialize in books for business owners. So if you're looking for a book for leadership or team building, etc., she can give you a personal recommendation, and she offers those books. So she said, do you own a product-based business? Do you have a skincare brand? She says, I was listening to an episode of the Her Business podcast, Content Sells, this show, and I was reminded of a book that was influential in shaping my beginnings with my skincare brand, Billy Goat Soap. She had a business called Billy Goat Soap. And she said the story she was recounting was that of Anita Roddick, the founder of The Body Shop, back in the 80s. And she said, I'm so proud to sell this book at Rereadable. And then she provides the link. And she says, if you want to listen to the Content Sells episode that inspired me, it's episode 189 with Formula Botanica owner Lorraine Dalmeyer. She said, it's a very inspiring chat between Lorraine and Michelle, well worth a listen. She said, in fact, I highly recommend this podcast series. I look out for new episodes each week with Michelle and Susie Daphnis. They're so informative. So, Leanne, thank you so much. We're going to put a link to Leanne's business in the show notes. And thank you, Leanne, for reaching out and mentioning, as a podcaster, we're here, Michelle's where she is, I'm where I am. We're speaking to you, and we love it when you speak back. And you can do that with a rating or review. So anything that we mentioned here on the show, any resources we mentioned, any other episodes, and the free resource, which is a copy of all the elements of Gillian's offer and her sales page, they can be found on our show notes page. And our show notes page is at herbusiness.com/piano case study. So herbusiness.com/piano case study. Michelle, do we want to tease next episode or not tease next episode? What are you thinking?
I like to be a good tease. Let's tease. And so actually, we've been talking about the 7 elements of an offer that sells, and like we said, we're doing our darndest to help you to think about this in ways that are really practical and useful so you can get out there and make more high converting offers. And we're going to, in the next episode, dig into one of those elements more specifically, and that's pricing. Pricing is such an important part of your offer, and it's definitely one of the areas that Susie and I see business owners struggle with, particularly women business owners. And it's a big topic. We could go in many different directions, and we will over time. But in the next episode, we're going to look specifically at why so many women business owners undercharge for their services, how that's holding them back from making high converting offers that truly reflect their value, and what you can do about it. And also, even if you're charging a really great amount right now, how might you still think about that pricing in a way that you can even elevate that pricing further? And we'll be talking about that with someone from the Woman-Centered Coaching Institute, the founder of the Woman-Centered Coaching Institute, Dr. Claire Zammit. She's been studying the way women learn, what we need to overcome some of these challenges, and she's going to share some amazing insights with us in the next episode.
That is coming up 2 weeks from today. So if you are new to the show, be sure to hit follow or subscribe wherever you are listening, and that episode will be downloaded for you when it releases. Michelle, anything you want to say before we go today?
I know I've said it a few times. I want to thank Gillian again for her generosity, and I encourage you, get the download, look at the work she's put into it, and let us know how you go. Take one thing and apply it to your offer today, and good luck with your high converting offers.
Thank you. Also, Michelle and I are doing something really soon that can help you specifically with your high converting offer. So listen out for some news about that coming real soon. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time right here on the Content Sells podcast. Bye for now.